Good evening and welcome to the Village Board meeting for the Village of Pleasantville. Today is Monday, May 21. If you have any comments or questions, we encourage you to call in at 769-1677. That's our call-in number. As always, I'm about to say as always, you can watch us live on Cablevision and Verizon, Cable TV, Optimum. But as of this very moment, on Monday, May 21, the Optimum signal is down. So, but as usual, you can always pick up an on-demand webcast at pctv76.org within a few days of the meeting, both for this meeting and for meetings in the past. We have a slightly different schedule coming up because of the holiday. Our next regular meeting is a brief meeting on Wednesday, May 30th at 6 p.m., the purpose of which is to do some housekeeping, pass a fiscal year end check register. And I anticipate we will also at that meeting be noticing a public hearing on this elaborate plan that the state has presented us with for potentially offsetting the loss of state and local tax deductibility through the form of charitable deductions. We had a work session on that this afternoon, just before this meeting, and I have slogged through quite a bit of the stuff at the NICOM meeting, which took place a couple of weeks ago in Albany, and as of the moment, every answered question begets 3 more unanswered questions, but we are going to go ahead and post a public hearing to post a local law that would establish the steps we have to take in order to make this possible, which is not to say for sure that we will, but simply we want to keep the option open, and if there's a means by which we can benefit our community residents, we obviously would like to do it. So more on that later, and again, what will happen on the 30th meeting is not substantive, simply the required posting in advance of a public hearing that would then take place at our next regular meeting, which is Monday, June 11, work session at 7, regular meeting at 8, back to our regular schedule. A couple of things to report. The first is kudos to the folks that organized Pleasantville Day. Demerits to the weather gods who did not participate in the planning successfully. Petro Zorgman, Ben Sarabin, Peter Raghavan, those folks, as they have done in past years, with the assistance of Linda Bellafato, Mike Newman, Debbie Nava, the folks down at our rec department, have put together a bang-up day as they have for the last some years. Unfortunately, it rained and rained and rained and rained, so I want to thank all the folks that came out anyway, and there were quite a few of them. Thanks to the Recycling Committee for the great work they do with the effort to collect and then redistribute old sports equipment. I think maybe there's more left over because there were fewer people around, and there was some discussion about whether there might be a means by which we could do that again to distribute free sports equipment, perhaps down at DPW. So more on that later. But the takeaway is the spirit of Pleasantville was able to shine through even though the sun didn't. And I just want to thank all the folks who participated and the folks that came, and hope that next time around we will have better weather. So a bunch of events coming up. A week from today, Monday, May 28th, is Memorial Day. We have our annual Memorial Day services and parade that start at 10 a.m. up at Bedford Road School by the World War I Monument. Then a parade down Bedford Road ending up at the War Monuments in Memorial Plaza. So that again starts at BRS on Monday at 10 a.m. and would very, very much like to encourage everybody who can possibly come to do so. Friday, June 1, Friday of the same week, is the Fire Department Parade, one of the great events of the year, the signature Pleasantville event. The Volunteer Fire Department Parade kicks off at 7 p.m. at its starting point in front of the library on Friday, June 1. The Music Festival is up and running with planning in place for the Music Festival, which takes place on Saturday, July 14. Get thee to pleasantvillemusicfestival.com to read all about the bands that are going to be present, the activities, vendors, and schedule for the day, and buy tickets. pleasantvillemusicfestival.com, July 14. Farm Market was absent this weekend because of Pleasantville Day, but will be back on their regular schedule starting this coming Saturday, and I think their programming of music and kids events is about to start as well. Online pool registration is going on now. If you find yourself up on Lake Street, pull into the parking lot and take a look at the improvements we've made around the dining area. We have a new operator in the kitchen who I think is primed to do a great job for us. We took down the fence between the dining area and the pool and put in a zigzag dining bar so you can sit on benches and enjoy your food while you look out at the pool instead of feeling like you're behind a chain link fence. So, and also extended that dining area and extended the pavement over by the area where games and board games are by another 10 feet. So we've made some incremental improvements every year, but I think this year is looking really good. So it would be great if folks can support that. The pool opens on Saturday of Memorial Day weekend, right? This coming Saturday. Mm-hmm. And do we have an open house on the first day?
I don't know.
Yes,
I haven't heard.
Is it a,
Yeah, one of the things we have sometimes done, and I meant to ask Linda today and forgot to, whether folks can attend the pool in the first day without having signed up as a member, just to see what's going on and
We used to have that with the
to be
swim team.
encouraged. Does that seem like a reasonable plan?
Yeah.
Reasonable enough that I can go ahead and tell people that it's true?
You're the mayor.
Okay, there you have it. By the powers vested in me as the mayor, I hereby declare that folks can go to the Pleasantville Pool on its first day of opening. That would be this coming Saturday, the 26th of May, without having joined, to enjoy the pool, to enjoy the new dining area, to see what's up there, and hopefully to encourage all of you to sign up as well. So,
Looks like it's going to be good weather.
all right, there you have it. Thanks for everybody's patience. Obviously, there have been a bunch of projects going on, tearing up the roads. Up on Broadway, we've been doing a village water main project down here on Marble Avenue, wrapping around to Bedford Road. Con Ed has been doing a gas main project, so it's been a bit of a tough call all the way around. But folks have been thoughtful and helpful, and I really appreciate that. So two other events worthy of mentioning that have a specific sort of very Pleasantville focus, and one of them is an event called the BHT Sunrise Walk. As so many of us know, Brian Thomas Halloran passed away on January 23rd, and his family has undertaken to both recall him and also to advocate and develop action plans to promote mental health and raise awareness about depression and its effects on our school and community. That is a walk that's going to take place on Sunday morning at 4:30 a.m., starting at the high school and ending at 6:30 a.m. Back at the high school cafeteria. So if you're interested in that, you can go to the website racemenu.com/BTH. That's RACEMENU.com/BTH to read about what's going on there. And then, as so many of us have known for many past years, the annual Tina Gambino fundraiser event that supports the Tina Gambino Foundation and so many good works, including the scholarships that are given to PHS students, is taking place on Friday, June 15. Info available there at tinagambino.org. And then the last piece I wanted to mention, and I just have to pull up the detail on it, is there is going to be a blood drive coming up at Holy Innocents that is organized by James Bathon. And I'll just read the note he sent. To blood drive supporters, hello, my name is James Bathon, and I'm a rising junior at the University of Notre Dame. I was a student at Pleasantville High School and a Holy Innocents parishioner and youth group member. I will be holding a blood drive on Wednesday, May 23rd from 2 to 8 p.m. in the Holy Innocents Social Hall. I'm seeking your support and participation. Some of you may know that during my freshman year of high school, I developed a rare autonomic autoimmune nervous system disorder, and my first treatments included numerous infusions of antibodies obtained from generous blood donors. To help replenish the blood bank and to ensure that blood-based treatments are available to those who need them, I'm asking for your help. So if you're interested in more information on that, you can sign up at the New York Blood Center, or you can contact James for further information at jbathonblooddrive@aol.com. That is Wednesday, May 23. So lots of good, very, very Pleasantville-focused things going on right now. And then the last thing I had on my list to note is I, as some of you may know, am a member of an organization called Mayors Against Illegal Guns that was started some years ago, and it has now partnered with everytown.org and Moms Demand Action. And that organization, which has promoted responsible gun controls, especially improvement in the loopholes that allow folks with criminal records or mental health records to acquire guns. The Gun Violence Awareness Day is on June 1, after the horrific events that took place this past week. I just wanted to remind everybody, whatever side of this issue you exist on, I think there's plenty of common ground to suggest that there are plenty of things that most everybody would agree are reasonable for our nation to do to try to keep guns out of the wrong hands. And I encourage you to take a look, if you're interested, at everytown.org. All right, anybody else have anything to report? Don't all shout at once, come on. Okay. Any comments from the public of any sort? Our call-in number is 769-1677. All right, with that, to the resolutions. Number 100. Nice round number.
Okay. Whereas the village board declares itself lead agency for secret purposes in connection with the proposed action to acquire 7 Hobby Street for use as a municipal parking lot, now therefore be it resolved that the village board of trustees of the village of Pleasantville hereby issues and adopts the short-term EAF determination of significance attached hereto, declares the action to be an unlisted action, and adopts a negative declaration under secret.
Is there a second?
A second.
More on that in a moment with number 101. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Number 101.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village mayor to execute the purchase agreement with Pizza Hut LLC for the acquisition of 7 Hobby Street for $259,000 contingent on a Phase 1 environmental review, and authorizes the payment of $25,900 for a down payment.
Is there a second?
Second.
So as you have just heard, this is a small existing parking lot which we propose to acquire. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. 102. David.
Resolved that the following budget amendments are hereby approved as listed below. $270,000 for Hobby Street parking lot, moved from the general fund to the capital fund.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. 103. Nicole.
Resolved that the pre-check register dated May 21st, 2018, covering check numbers 89605 to 89723 is hereby approved as listed below. General Fund, $175,782.69. Special Purpose, $80. Water Fund, $6,778.69. Capital Fund, $37,740.75. Refuse Fund, $32,089.30. Trust Fund, $2,623.75, for a total of $255,095.18.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments, questions about the check register? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Steve, 101.
Resolved that the pre-check register dated May 21st, 2018, covering check numbers 89719 through 89723 for prepayment of fiscal year-end 2019 expenditures is hereby approved as listed below. From the general fund, $9,818.25.
Is there a second?
Second.
So, as Steve reported, our fiscal year ends May 31, and our new fiscal year begins June 1, as is the case for villages in New York State. So we split the check register so that items that refer to the following year are in the right category. Comments or questions on that check register? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. David, 105.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby accepts the following donations for the Patty Dwyer Tree Fund. Eventbrite Fundraiser, $2,040. Peter Scherer and Kathy Heron, $100. Shane McGaffey and Ekaterina Dobrynyna, $50. Did I get that right, Shane?
You got it. Yeah. Well done.
PCTV, $300. Charles Monroe, $75. Sharon and Kenneth Foley, $25. Nikki and Peter Eschweiler, $250.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks to all of those folks. The Eventbrite fundraiser were folks that contributed online at the same time that they signed up or took a look at the possibility of attending the party we held for Patty. So long list of folks who participated in that as well. So thanks to every one of those people. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. We are, I think, close to planting that Copper Beech tree. And the funds raised, I think, are going to allow us actually to make some nice improvements around the trunk of it as well, so that perhaps it will be an opportunity for folks to come and gather and ponder municipal management. What do you think? It can be a mecca for municipal managers to sit under a Copper Beech tree. Are you listening, Dwyer? Anybody else can sit there too. So. All in, we already approved that, right? Yes. Okay, 106, Nicole.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the request from the Pleasantville Recreation Department to hold the Memorial Day Parade on Monday, May 28, 2018 at 10 a.m. Said parade route to begin at the Bedford Road School, proceed down Bedford Road to the Memorial Plaza, concluding with a ceremony at the World War II Monument. And further resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the police chief to post no parking signs along the parade route and in Memorial Plaza and to tow all vehicles violating this temporary parking restriction.
Is there a second?
Second.
So as reported at the outset, Memorial Day next Monday, the May 28th at 10 a.m. Gather at BRS. We hope all folks will be there. 107.
Wait, we have to vote.
Oh, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Thank you for that. We'd have to come back into
Yeah,
session in order
post
to approve it.
resolution, right.
To approve it. 107.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the request from Clark Street residents to hold a block party on Saturday, June 30th, 2018 from 1 to 10 p.m. and further grant permission for said street to be closed to traffic from house number 15 to house number 61 during the hours stated.
Is there a second?
Second.
Always a good party.
One of the legendary
Yes.
parties of Pleasantville. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Have a good time, Clark Street folks. 108, David.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following mayoral trustee assignments to various boards, commissions, committees, and village departments. Pedestrian Safety Committee, Asquith. Recycling Committee, Asquith. Beautification Committee, Asquith. Sustainable Westchester, Asquith. Climate Smart Committee, Asquith. Foodchester Farm Market, Lord. School District, Lord. Conservation Advisory Board, Lord. Senior Citizens, Lord. PCTV, Sharer. PHDFC, PCHDO, Sharer. Planning, Sharer. Pleasantville Strong, Stargiotti. Pleasantville Fire Department, Stargiotti. Parks and Rec Advisory Board, Stargiotti. Library Board, Vinjamori. Chamber of Commerce, Vinjamori. Zoning Board of Appeals, Vinjamori. Architectural Review Board, Vinjamori.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or questions? So each of us takes some responsibilities to become the liaison to the various boards and committees that assist us in so many ways. And with David's arrival, we have mixed them up a little bit, which is, I think, a great opportunity. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. 109. Nicole.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the request from Holy Innocents Church for use of a barbecue grill on Holy Innocents property on Tompkins Avenue on Wednesday, June 6th, 2018, in conjunction with their monthly program for seniors.
Is there a second?
Second.
Do they really have to ask us every
Can't
time?
we just do one of these and then they
Yeah.
can, I mean,
Right.
do we have to do this every year?
Whatever.
I mean,
I don't know what the terms are, but
I guess we don't.
regardless,
It's
I am
against code, so.
I am more than happy to
variance.
say all in favor.
aye.
Motion approved. Thank you to the church for
Yes.
running a program for seniors. 110, David.
No,
Oh,
Nicole.
me. Nicole?
No, Steve.
Steve,
Me.
yes. It was
Right, you
Nicole
just
was
did
the
the-
barbecue
I
buff.
just barbecued it
That's
up.
what, you
Right.
just barbecued the church. No.
110, Steve Lord.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village administrator to execute a revocable license agreement with Timothy and Avatal Woods, 53 Brookfield Place, for the purpose of removing and replacing a retaining wall in the village's right-of-way.
Is there a second?
Second.
So as is often the case, there are sometimes improvements that exist on people's property that are actually on village land. That does not turn them into the responsibility of the village, especially in most cases like this one. It is an improvement for the homeowner's own property. So When that needs to be replaced, it requires a revocable license that says you guys are welcome to keep it there and you're welcome to take it down and replace it, but there are a set of guidelines, including insurance requirements, that prevail. So
Familiar with that.
David is familiar with that, having gone through it himself. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. 111. Now it's David.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village administrator to sign the HVAC service agreement for the Clinton Street Center with DP Wolf, Inc., 143 Bedford Road, Katona, New York, for the period June 1st, 2018 to May 31st, 2020. I actually have a question about this.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, what's your question?
My question is there a point at which we have enough service agreements for the maintenance of various things that it's worth getting somebody trained to do this ourselves and bringing it in-house, since we do have a DPW?
I would say everything's always worth thinking about. I think in the case of HVAC, especially given the variety of the equipment that exists both in this building and in various other places, that it would be hard to have somebody on staff who had all those skills, and it would require that we then have supplies of parts and all of that. Further, I think some of the work is probably work that requires a license. So I somewhat doubt that this falls into the category of something we could do for ourselves.
What were we talking about, the rec center before, the contract there? There was another like expensive contract for maintenance of
That was security cameras and alarms.
security cameras.
Right.
Because then it's like at some
Right.
point, do you could just get a electrical engineer, train them up to be an HVAC person, pay them $100,000 a year, or whatever, and then you save more
Well,
than the contracts, right?
Yeah.
Just to allay people's fears here, the first year of this contract is only $5,900. So it's not.
No, I'm just
so-
saying there are a bunch of these, though, right?
Look, I think.
I mean,
I think your idea is a good one. I somewhat doubt that HVAC is the place where it's going to play out as a viable possibility. But further to the discussion we had during the budget process about security cameras and security alarms, it certainly makes sense to sort of inventory what we have and look at them holistically. The cameras and alarms piece, just for example, might be a piece that could be assembled into a single package. I will say, having lived through it both on the board and as a board member for Pleasantville Community Housing Development Organization, which is part owner of the senior center, it's been a long haul to try to end up with a stable system down there for a whole series of reasons, including the system that was originally installed was proprietary in nature, and only a few people could manage it, and the whole long story. So at any rate, worth discussing for sure.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Nicole, 112.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby accepts the resignation letter of Rosita Robertazzi, recreation attendant part-time, job code 0270-05, Clinton Street Center, effective May 7th, 2018, and Frank Locasio, thank you, bus driver part-time, job code 0204-02, Clinton Street Center, effective May 9th, 2018.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks to these folks for their service. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. 113, Steve.
Okay, whereas the Village of Pleasantville, here and after local government, believes that climate change poses a real and increasing threat to our local and global environments and is primarily due to the burning of fossil fuels, and whereas the effects of climate change will endanger our infrastructure, economy, and livelihoods, harm our farms, orchards, and ecological communities, including native fish and wildlife populations, spread invasive species and exotic diseases, reduce drinking water supplies and recreational opportunities, and pose health threats to our citizens. And whereas we believe that our response to climate change provides us with an unprecedented opportunity to save money and build livable, energy-independent, and secure communities, vibrant innovation economies, healthy and safe schools, and resilient infrastructures. And whereas we believe the scale of greenhouse gas emissions reductions required for climate stabilization will require sustained and substantial efforts. And whereas we believe that even if emissions were dramatically reduced today, communities would still be required to adapt to the effects of climate change for decades to come. It is hereby resolved that the Village of Pleasantville, in order to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and adapt to a changing climate, adopts the New York State Climate Smart Communities Pledge, which comprises the following 10 elements: build a climate smart community, inventory emissions, set goals, a plan for climate action, decrease energy use, shift to clean renewable energy, use climate smart materials management, implement climate smart land use, enhance community resilience to climate change, support a green innovation economy, inform and inspire the public, and engage in an evolving process of climate action.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or questions?
Well, I'll just say that I'm part of the Climate Smart Community Task Force, and that things are moving along nicely. One of the things that is great about this task force is I feel like it's representative of the range of expertise and knowledge that we have here in this village, really in quite an impressive way. And we're at the stage right now where each member of the task force is looking into gathering information and setting specific goals.
And thanks, shout out also to Pace University. We have a couple of graduate students assisting and leading that project.
So I'm the mover of this, so it's kind of weird if I have a question on it. But the questions I have is, so these 10 things that we just read off, when we say we're going to shift to clean renewable energy, I mean, are there mandates to what that really means, or is this just a generic sort of, we'd love to do this if we can? And are we inventorying? Are we going to create an inventory of our emissions?
we're
working
our
with PACE on
our
this.
climate smart communities thing has some clear targets.
Right.
Right, but the resolution doesn't really say, what I'm afraid of is we pass a resolution that says we're going to shift to clean renewable energy and our police are driving regular cars. Are we boxing ourselves in a corner by passing a thing, we're doing this without any kind of qualifier to when we will do that, or the goals that are set by the...
No,
I mean?
think it's fairly open-ended in terms of exactly how that is executed. And the way that it works is you accrue points for achieving different goals. So it's not like you have to do X, Y, and Z. It's that if you do X, you'll get this point. If you do Y, you'll get this point. And so it's more of an accumulative thing, and each step along the way, there
Right.
will be some consensus about what we choose to do.
Maybe what
Or
I'm
not do.
jammed on is just there's no qualifier here for when these 10 things happen. Maybe I'm...
I don't think
thinking
we're
of
not
the-
committing to a specific schedule. We certainly are committing to
These
having
10
these
things.
goals
Right.
As an overarching context for everything we do.
Right, it's a
In order to
mission
reduce
statement of
greenhouse
sorts.
Right.
and
Yeah.
Right.
Adopts the pledge. Yeah, okay.
Right.
I
The
don't
more
need to-
specific goals are coming out of the Climate Smart project.
All right.
So.
Right.
Duly
All right.
noted.
Any further comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. 114. David.
Resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby approves the parade permit application submitted for the BTH Foundation Into the Light Walk on Sunday, June 10th, 2018, from 4:30 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. Said parade route to begin at Pleasantville High School, proceed down Romer Avenue to Bedford Road to Clark Street to Manville Road to Great Oak Lane to Bedford Road to Marble Avenue to Sunnyside Avenue to Tompkins Avenue to Martling Avenue to Clinton Street, concluding with a ceremony at Pleasantville High School. Parade route will access both roadways and sidewalks. Further resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the police chief to provide temporary road closures in support of the parade route.
Is there a second?
Second.
So this has been heavily discussed between Brian Halloran and Eric Ressner, our police chief. Obviously, it's taking place very, very early in the morning, and happy to be able to find a way to make this good event happen, not only to honor the memory of Brian Halloran, who recently passed away, but also to shine the light that the family and the foundation seek to shine on mental health issues in general. So anybody who is able to get up at 4:30 a.m., as mentioned, go to racemenu.com/BTH. There's also a click option for I can't get up that early, but I'd like to contribute. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. 115. Nicole.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the minutes of the meetings held on April 23rd, 2018, April 30th, 2018, and May 7th, 2018.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or questions? I thank the rest of you. Nicole and I were in Saratoga for the meeting of May 7th at the NICOM conference. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. All right, any further business, any new business to bring up? Comments from the public at the moment? We're looking at a mostly empty hall. All right, I thank you all for your attention. Again, another shout out to the folks who put together what turned out to be a soggy but otherwise extraordinarily well planned Pleasantville Day, especially Ben Serapin, Petro Zorkman, Peter Rogovan, and Linda Bellafato and her crew down at the rec department. Thanks to all you guys, and we hope to see many of you at the Memorial Day Parade, 10 a.m. on Monday the 28th, and hope to see the entire community turn out on behalf of the fire department the following Friday, June 1 at 7 p.m. for the annual fire department parade. Meanwhile, beseech the weather gods to keep the rain away for all these events. So, thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Actually, is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all. Good night. Again, brief meeting on the 30th and a regular meeting back on June 11th.